the self-sustaining teams.
Yeah.
How long do you think it would take to make teams here self-sufficient and to get the endowment you need?
I think there's tremendous capacity out there in terms of folks that are passionate about particular sports here at the University of Texas. And so some sports that have a smaller number of student athletes that may already have some significant endowment dollars, like let's say men's golf would be easier. Other sports that are larger have more student athletes and historically have less support, like let's pick women's track and field. Our current endowment is zero, and that shouldn't be the case. So I think it's a process that we'll start working on, and I think we're going to find a lot of success out there because people are very passionate about the University of Texas and our athletic department.
Regardless of what, I guess, your opinion is on the Northwestern situation, it is out there and it seems like something's moving forward. Is there cause of concern with athletic directors or wonder what the next step might be?
I think all executives in any business, when they see a particular legal machinations that might have impact on their operations, have to consider what could happen. That particular case is for a very defined segment of scholarship football players at a private institution like Northwestern. It doesn't include the walk-ons, doesn't include any other sports. I'm not saying that to make light of the findings, but it's a conversation piece. But I do think that what it represents is the poor job that we as an enterprise, and I mean all of college athletics, have done talking about the reality of what the vast, vast, vast majority of our student athletes are, which are students first and athletes second. The potential is that maybe 1% of student athletes may go on to a professional athletic career. The other 99, and even if they do, their average lifespan is 4 years. So they've got a half a century of life after they're done playing whatever games they may go play. The other 99+% are coming here to get an education so they can go out and become better professionals, be they doctors, lawyers, dentists, accountants, what have you. And that's who we really should be focusing on and talking about, not the 1% of folks that are going to go on and play professional sports.
With the revenues getting so high, though, do you see that there's maybe a shift of maybe a momentum where the student athletes are going to be entitled to maybe more, whether it's money, whether it's an extended type scholarship, because of
I think there's a misperception out there because we've done such a poor job of telling our story. So at the University of Texas, if you want to come back and finish, we make funds available for that to happen. At the University of Texas, if you have an injury, we make sure we pay your medical up to a couple of years after people are out here to make sure you get back to full health so you can go on with your life. So we don't do the kind of things at the University of Texas that other schools are being accused of. And I think the reality is most, next to the GI Bill, right? Next to the GI Bill, academic scholarships for student athletes is the next biggest group of scholarships in this country. So when you look out across the countryside, you got the GI Bill, then you got student athletes as the number one source of scholarships, which change people's lives across the United States. And that's what we really ought to be talking about and focusing on.
Steve, in your first 5 months on the job, what have been some of the biggest challenges that you've faced here?
I think what's been exciting is the potential for growth here. I think what's been interesting is finding a way around issues like this to better tell our story. There's a great passionate fan base here. There's a very dedicated staff. There's 500+ student athletes that are doing a great job. I get up every day and just get excited just to show up at the office and try to continue to grow this thing along the same way that the loss did for 3.5 decades before I got here. And I think we have unbelievable head height.
No challenges?
You don't have a job if you don't have some challenges. I mean, it's easy. You know, I mean, if everything's easy, you just lay on the couch and watch the 80-inch TV and the Longhorn Network all day.
Kind of piggybacking on that, though, 5 months.
As long as you got AT&T or Dish is coming though, so you can watch Longhorn Network on Dish quickly.
You've been here 5 months. It sounds like you're feeling comfortable. How is it being back at your alma mater in this unique position?
You know, I never planned to come back here. I'm honored to have been chosen. I think Bill Power's group that came to talk to me, and Bill has been a tremendous leader for this university. I love working for him. I think we've got tremendous upside. You know, it's a real honor to be able to follow DeLoss in this position, and I just want to make sure we continue the glide path up from where it's been for so many years.
The challenge of filling the Irwin Center, do you look at it as do you market it not only to the burnt orange diehards, but do you also try to reach out and market it like maybe a pro sport with all the transplants that are in this market?
I think all of our teams have to be marketed. I think all of our teams could use a broader sales effort. I don't look at it as just men's basketball or women's basketball. I think the same is true for volleyball and softball and baseball and all the rest of our sports. So to talk about attendance on one particular team and base that on performance of the team on the floor, I think there's a much more complicated dynamic there. And I would expect that you're going to see here and across the country more focus on that kind of sales efforts that you see in the pro ranks across college sports, because quite frankly, you need it to drive the revenues.
You would seem to be the perfect guy for that job. Are there some concrete ideas that you already know you're going to implement, say, for instance, for basketball?
Oh, we'll have a dedicated sales team. We'll do more business-to-business sales with a greater focus on meeting the different customer constituents' needs. So that may mean mini-season packages, that may mean group sales packages, that may mean different experiences around the game, all the kind of things you do in the pros day in and day out.
Rick has expressed for a long time he likes the Irwin Center fine, that he likes the arena fine. Obviously the parking situation is the one thing that he feels has been a real negative. And when you say it's 5 to 10 years possibly before you get a new arena there, have you had any conversations with Rick? Has he expressed frustrations to you about the Irwin Center, about how long it might take to get a new arena?
We've had conversations just in general about what may happen with the arena. I think it's early. I would be ready to say, and I would say now, that with the construction that's coming and what's going to happen with Red River being closed down here shortly, transportation in and out and parking is going to be an issue. And it's going to be more of an issue as we go forward over the next couple of years, not just for Frank Irwin Center events, but for football and other events. So, I caution everybody to start thinking about coming early, staying a little later, because be thinking about how to get in and out without using Red River, because quite frankly, it's going to be an issue. It's going to be something we're all going to have to deal with. None of us on the athletic side love having to deal with that, but it's a part of the growth of the university when you put a med school in here, and that's one of the great things for the university and for the city of Austin and for the state.
What kind of changes can the fans expect out of the football stadium over the next handful of years in terms of the south end zone, like you spoke about earlier, and the boxes and things like that?
Well, we've got upgrades going to club areas on the east and west right now. I think we're going to need to do more with better Wi-Fi and internet access for folks as we go forward. And ultimately, once we get done talking to all our constituents, we'll look at a project in the south end zone. I think that project will lean more towards more premium seating, not really towards greater capacity. Eventually, we're going to have to figure out what we do with the video there. It's a video board that's getting some years on it, and depending upon how long it takes us to get to a new facility, it'll be a few years older. And so you want to continue to upgrade the fan experience every year so that people recognize a good value proposition and have a great time when they come here.
Steve, because of your history, UT, has it made this job any different than your past jobs?
Oh, I think in some respects it's easier because you come here and you sort of start to walk. The first day we were here, first game, my wife and I started to walk the suite level about 2.5 hours before the game, and we didn't get back to this side of the building to the AD suite till halftime. And you sort of realize all the folks all their kids all their grandparents and so it's been a lot of fun to sort of reconnect with a lot of folks that we've known after living here for 30 years.
Comparable at all to your days with the Rockets, because of growing up with the Rockets and being a fan, I assume, when you were in high school and college. Same thing here there. You were a fan then, and now you're the boss.
Yeah. I mean, you have a greater emotional attachment to the place you've grown up with, and I think that's one of the great things about college athletics, and it's multi-generational. I had a wonderful time going to undergrad and law school here, and have a lot of friends here. So it's great to be able to have that as part of the experience.
When we asked you about A&M, getting that back on the books, you seemed more into the bigger picture. Can you just talk about where A&M is on your to-do list?
It's about the fourth time, at different points in time, I've been asked about a game against A&M. I think, look, until there's a case made that makes sense to play another game against another school in the state of Texas, a little ways down the road, I don't see us really focusing on it. I think this university has a particular opportunity, along with a small handful of other universities in this country, to really be an international brand and to maximize the messaging for the university as a whole on a broad scale, nationally and internationally. That's what we should be focusing on. I don't think we should be atavistic in our views of who we particularly play on any particular day during the season.
Has anyone made a case for Texas State yet?
There are those that have made the case.
What impact has Coach Strong had so far?
I think Charlie's been really well received throughout the country. I think people recognize he's been a very successful coach for a lot of years. I think the staff, and just riding the elevator over here with earlier with a couple of the players, they really were enjoying what's going on in practice. I think he's a great ambassador for the university. I think it's a great story to tell. I think there's just a great deal of excitement about him.
Steve, can you just touch on the international, why that was so important to you to get that done, and what that does for this university?
Well, we are a university in the middle of the country. Our conference is based in the middle of the country. The opportunity for us to go to China and tell the story of the University of Texas and develop academic relationships and business relationships and potential student relationships and potential student athletes relationships. If I can find us a Yao Ming over there, wants to come to UT, that'd be great. That opportunity provides all kinds of opportunities for us to grow the UT brand and the athletic department brand. You look at a school like UCLA, it's been over there for 20 years. They got 70 retail stores. You just are beginning to scratch the surface of the kind of impact you can have for the university as a whole.
Steve, are you prepared at all to name some possible sites of the new basketball arena?
Not at all, no. I mean, we're not at that juncture.
Steve, next week
guys.
President Obama will be here for a pretty landmark civil rights event. What can the athletic department do to sort of advance that message of equality that comes with an event like that?
Well, I think we do every day with our staff and with the student athletes that are here. On a practical daily side, it's our staff that's helping run the event and make sure it happens in a successful fashion. And they don't necessarily do those big events all the time at the LBJ school, but it's something we do day in and day out. So we're happy to help out and make it happen.